I'm Bia from Bia Creates, and welcome to this new bullet journal video. For this month, my theme was based on Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is one of my favorite animated series of all time, and I decided to feature Appa and Momo because I couldn't do a spread with just one of them. And I really did not have much time to make these spreads. The month that I did this theme for, I had so much going on, so I basically just had one afternoon to do them all, which was really stressful, I'm not gonna lie. So I did rush through a lot of this, but I think overall it turned out super well in the end, and it helped that I had this pretty detailed sketch that I had done the night before, so that when I actually sat down to create these spreads, I already had a plan and a layout in mind. I originally was just going to use markers for the spread, but I did end up deciding to put some craft paper in a couple of different spots because I felt like it really fit with the theme as well as with the colors in the spread. I was honestly surprised at how easy it was to draw Appa and Momo. A lot of my other spreads this year actually were a lot more difficult to draw, and it's kind of deceptive because a lot of them were more simple characters in terms of shape and detail. But I think that I have a lot more experience drawing more realistic quote-unquote animals versus more cute or cartoony animals, so my cinema roll spreads or my Care Bear spreads were a lot more work for me because it's an art style that I was less used to, and this was a lot more similar to what I normally do. One thing that I did differently with these spreads compared to some of my other ones was I used my tombow fudenosuke brush pen to outline all of my line work, and I think this made it a lot more clear and a lot more visible from a distance, which was important because these shapes and these characters were so much bigger than some of the other drawings that I have done, and so I think it did need that more bold line art for it to look cohesive. I started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender during the pandemic, and it was such a good show, I think, to watch during that time because it is a very good, I think, comfort TV show, and I really fell in love with the characters and also the artwork within the show, and so I really was kind of kicking myself for not watching it earlier because it was such an enjoyable thing to watch. And even now to continue to rewatch, there's different episodes that I still love. And so I have lots of good memories associated with it, which is why it was really fun to make these spreads. During this month, I had really gotten into more of an illustrative style when drawing clouds, and I had this whole Pinterest deep dive that I went on different ways to draw clouds with pen and ink, so I did try to emulate that more stylistic, illustrative type of cloud in these spreads. I think this portion here became my favorite part of the cover page because I love a good white gel pen on craft paper, and I had originally planned on doing each of the different symbols for the different elements in different colors, but I think it worked out much better to have it be just the white on the craft paper because it would have been a lot more busy on the spread and taken away from the other colors here. And here's the final look. Moving on to my reading list and habit trackers for this month, I was having a lot of fun doing the spread as well. Even though it is a lot more simple than what I normally do, sometimes it's nice to go back to some of the basics and to keep things simple when you need to. I just did a simple drawing of Momo here in the corner, once again using my white gel pen on the craft paper, and just coloring in different portions of it before moving on to my habit trackers. These were also more simple for this month, but I do have a pretty defined way that I like to do my habit trackers every month. So it was pretty easy to just get those done, and they still look, I think, really nice, and they fill up the spread quite well. Finally, I drew Appa at the bottom of the spread, and I kept trying to center him, and I was having so much trouble with that for some reason. So I eventually was like, I'm just gonna draw him where he goes, and it'll work out in the end. I've been feeling pretty dissatisfied with my quote pages for the last couple months, so I wanted to take a little bit extra time on the spread, well, as much as I could with my limited schedule that I had, just to try something a little bit new, to see if I can kind of get out of my little creative rut that I'd been having with these quote pages. So I did do what I normally do, which is draw the characters in the middle of the page. But I did put a little bit more detail into them, and I made them a little bit bigger. And then instead of kind of varying the different fonts and colors that I used, I did all the quotes with my black brush pen, and then I ended up highlighting them in the color scheme of this theme. And I actually really loved the way that this turned out, and it might be one of my favorite quote pages that I've done this year. So I'm glad that I decided to switch it up and take a little bit of a risk and get out of my comfort zone, because I think that's exactly what I needed to do. I don't normally have kind of a theme or a connected point for my quotes of the month, but this month they all ended up being about summer and a lot of times the heat. Because I do live in Texas now, but I'm not originally from Texas, so I'm still trying to get used to summers that are so hot. So I think that kind of came out a lot when I was looking for quotes for this month. Because I was short on time, I unfortunately could not do my normal character doodle spread for this month, so instead I just created a simple back to school spread where I'll be able to record my memories and photos of going back in for a new school year in my last year of college. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing how these spreads were created. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.